Look around you. There are some men that just seem to get it all. You will find them succeed in everything they touch. If they try a certain sports, they just happen to win every time. If they try out a certain business, they happen to get filthy rich. How do they do this? Is there a secret formula behind this? How do they make it look easy? It comes down to two main things. Number one, consistency. And number two, using momentum to maintain your consistency. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less. I want you to observe anyone in life who has ever achieved something really great. Take Mike Tyson, for example. He's known to be one of the best boxers of all time. What was his secret to success? Consistency and momentum. Mike Tyson used to train 50 to 60 hours in a week. To put that into perspective for you, an average American works close to 35 hours per week and still finds a way to complain about it. But Mike Tyson was putting in nearly double that amount of time and training from 8 to 10 hours per day. This is the first step, being consistent. Consistency simply means to stick to your plan and not let yourself get distracted by being disciplined. So how did Mike turn this into momentum? Simple. By repeating his consistency over and over again. He used consistency to train himself to a point where winning was inevitable. After winning his first fight, his mindset was elevated, where he knew how to win the second fight. And from that point on, it's just a matter of rinse and repeat. So just like letters make words, words make sentences, and sentences make paragraphs. In the same way, the small positive habits you do over and over again make you consistent. Now, stacking this consistency over weeks and months and years creates an unbreakable wave of momentum. Most people may achieve the first step of being consistent, but they never reach the second step of momentum, which is where the real freedom comes. For a second, close your eyes and reflect on the people in your life who are miserable. This might be a family member, or a close friend, or someone you just used to know. Think about why they are miserable and never seem to get successful in anything. The answer once again comes down to a lack of consistency and momentum. For example, they might have told you, "I am a great singer and want to start my YouTube channel." So for the first 2 or 3 days, they are very motivated. They just want to start. But what happens after? They fall off. They don't carry on with the consistency until it has evolved into forward momentum. Or they might tell you, "I am planning on going to the gym from next week." They might go one day, post some selfies on Instagram, but quickly they fall off. Which once again comes back to the principle of consistency, which you must keep building up until it has evolved into fast-moving forward momentum. Only, once you achieve this second step of momentum, will you find life easy. Life will run on autopilot for you, where you cruise your way through obstacles. Remember, everyone has built up momentum. Some have built momentum in the downward spiral, which is the easiest to create. But if you want to be in the upward spiral, then this principle of consistency and momentum suggests. The first step is always the hardest. Think about it. If you haven't exercised or been to the gym for a few months, how does the first week back feel? It feels excruciating. Because you have lost the momentum. So, the hardest part is the first step. The first time you decide to wake up at 5 a.m., it will be the hardest. The first time you decide to learn a business model, it will be the hardest. The first time you decide to go out and socialize to become more charismatic, it will be the hardest. But over time, momentum will take you places where you never expected to reach so soon. Most people think that the amount of time it takes them to go from step 1 to step 2 in the self-improvement journey is the same time it will take them to go from step 2 to step 3. That's completely incorrect. Momentum doesn't go in a linear motion. It goes like an exponential curve, where it now takes you less time to move on to next steps. Why? Because there has been a complete shift in your mindset. You now have more experience with consistency and discipline under your belt. So remember this, it's all about getting the ball rolling. From there, it's just a matter of riding the momentum wave you have created. With all that said, how do you get over the first hard step? How do you even build consistency in the first place? For this, you need to master a few rules first. Let's start with number 1. Work on the offense, not on the defense. The prime example of working on a defense is when you wake up late. Now you are simply trying to get your tasks done as quickly as possible before the day ends. However, if you start your day early, you switch the formula and work on the offense. Instead of the day dictating which tasks you get done and how long you spend on them, you now dictate it for yourself. So start early and attack the day. Number 2. Don't share your goals with others, at least not until you have achieved them or have built up unbreakable momentum. Remember, all our actions begin from the mind. One of the biggest motivating factors for starting a goal is to be praised by people and be viewed as an individual of high social worth. By sharing your goals with people, you trick your brain into thinking that you have already achieved your goal. For example, you tell someone, "I'm going to start my own business from next week." A socially acceptable response would be, "Wow, good on you, I'm so proud of you." This releases dopamine in your mind, gives you that feeling of being rewarded. Right now is not the time for this reward to be realized inside your mind, but by being released, it stops you from giving it your all. This is why you will find most successful people remain quiet in a room full of people. They are usually the ones who sit back and observe. Instead of speaking out and being an open book, they leave a little room for mystery and learn from others. They are not the quickest to answer, but are the quickest to act. In fact, the Bible says in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 19, "Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut." So, brothers, when you are consistent, victory is inevitable. And once these victories are stacked one upon another, momentum is inevitable. And once momentum kicks in, life is truly a cruise form that point on. Now it's a simple matter of rinse and repeating this success in all other areas of your life. By the way, don't forget to show some love. Tap that subscribe button and hit like for the algorithm. To see the next best way to level up as a man, watch these videos here.